Okay, so let's talk about Soulfly's newest album, the Totem, and this is gonna be my album review, and I got to talk a little about what I think about the album and what is my favorite song and all this kind of thing. So my favorite song, if we start with that part from the beginning, my favorite song is Superstition is one of them. Ancestries of Gold, Ancestry, Totem, and Spirit Animals is my favorite songs of the album, and I think the album is really good. Specifically, all the spiritual feel to the album, like about nature and spirits, and each soulfly album is different from the other in that sense. They have different topic, like for example Conqueror, that album was about war and conquering. Dark Ages was like middle ages, like darkness and like all this kind of thing. But specifically the Totem album, I also really like the art with on the front cover on the CD is like a totem pole, like with the owl and like mythical creatures, and so that also gives it it's like a very the soulfly have a very specific sound to them that no other metal band have, like how they combine, for example, with the spirit and all that final track of the album, the sound of a antler or other creature in North America, in specific in the beginning of Spirit Animal, like the feeling of animals in the forest is a very cool feeling you get from it. It's like it's similar to the instrumental song of Dark Ages, when you hear like the thunder and the rain, and then you hear the guitar, and all of this kind of thing builds up some kind of emotion inside you, and this kind of thing, and that is something that makes Soulfly stands out from all of the other kinds of metals that exist in the world. So for me, I cannot really say that Soulfly is a specific title of metal, because they are so much further on in a way. Because if you think about it, how, for example, Max Cavalera, how many different projects he have Soulfly, Kill Every Kill, Go Ahead and Die, and before Soulfly he have Sepultura. So there have been so many different projects, different bands like Nail Bomb and so on, and Cavalera, and all these different projects gives the feeling of everything new and fresh, and specifically the historical aspect to different songs. For example, in my take on it, the Ancestries of Gold is like something about, I think about the conquistadors, and Totem is about a spiritual object that has spirit in it, that with ancestry. And superstition is like to think about different things, believe in something in a way. But I think for me anyways, Incesses of Gold is my favorite track of the album. Then we have Ancestry and second place, and third place I have to give to damage done. I think song Totem is a bit better than Damage Done, but all of the tracks are really good in a different way. I think the album was perfect length, how long the album was. The longest song was Spirit Animals. So that was the longest song. But for me anyway, I always liked Soulfly's album. I have listened to all of them, from the Soulfly 1 to all to Totem, or like all the Soulfly albums, and every album was amazing. I have not yet listened to any Soulfly album yet that I do not really like, because they are so different from each other. Like, for example, Ritual is different from Totem. Omen is different. Conqueror is different from Omen. Enslave are different from Savagery. So all of them are different from each other, and all of them have different instrumental to it, different feeling. And if I compare each like cover art on Soulfly albums, what is my favorite of all of them so far, I still have to say so far, I think Conqueror with the big beast with many arms and different weapons, like inspiration of a Tibetan beast from Tibet, is probably my favorite track art so far. And then obviously we have, after that we have Omen with the different scenes, the 7 scenes. But specifically, like Totem, that album is a really good album, and really seem to make it more like, how can I say it? It's very different in a way, because you have the kind of the new, more aggressive, but still that kind of spiritual feeling to it, like a powerful spirit around it. And that also gives it a very interesting feeling, and you obviously get the kind of punk, groovy, aggressive, like this kind of in your face kind of, this kind of image of this album when you listen to it. Like, for obviously for each image and each feeling when you listen to music, like for each person that listens to Soulfly album will get different feeling what they think about the album. So in my personal feeling, it's very spiritual in a sense, and it's very much you know when you listen to Soulfly, and that's what I mean. This is what I want to say. You know when you listen to Soulfly, because there's no other band that at least sound like Soulfly. Is like, you don't gonna get like, it's. I think that is maybe the complicated thing for some people that listen to metal, or like myself, like listen to metal. It's like, it's very, Soulfly is very different from, like, for example, Slipknot or Korn or Hatebreed or Chimera or other some kind. Soulfly is very much really try different thing from each album. They don't stay like this way from the beginning to the end, like from the start first album to the latest album. They always, like, for example, Tree of Pain, for example, that track in Soulfly 3, Fly High in Soulfly, in Back to the Primitive, Soulfly 2, that track. And so it's always like different way. For example, in Dark Ages and before that with the Prophecy, they have a band called Iceburn, that is a Croatian reggae metal group, I think they are, and they sing the song Moses, and the other one is Archangel. Which is the other song in the album of Dark Age. Anyway, that Max Cavalera is very much that he can take different musicians and he tried different things, and I think that is very, very rare to see in metal today, that you have different styles. You can have R&B singers, reggae, blues, blues, rock, and different like instrumental music. So that's what I mean. It's like soulfly for me, anyways. In my personal opinion, it's like soulfly you never get tired to listen to soulfly because of this. It's never gonna. It's not the same fruit all the time. It's not like the same dark evil. You know, the devil, devil, skull, everybody die. It's not like soulfly is soulfly is positivity with aggression in different boxes. That is what I mean. So the whole thing with the album Totem is that this time is about nature, the spirit, nature, the animals. For example, I can read a lyrics in the here one because I cannot say it in my head. This one, I think this. Okay, so mystic life, restriction, extinctions, which of gods their revention, pounding heart full of greed, creating hands to relieve. It's like, obviously I say it very badly, but it's really amazing songs, and yeah, for me this album is perfect. I really like it, and I like all the soulfly albums, as I said before, because they are so different from each other. And obviously you get for each guest vocalist or come on the album or help it for it, make it very interesting, and specifically, for example, when you listen to In Soulfly Back to the Primitive with Terrorist, the song Terrorist with Tom Araya from Slayer, it sounds totally different when he sing with Max in Soulfly in comparable when he sing in Slayer, Tom Araya. And the same thing with Corey Taylor in Back to the Primitive, or and many different other guest vocalists. I think this album is really good, and they have Ancestry of Gold, Totem, Damage Done, Roots of Pain. But like the best for me, anyways, the best song is like this is Ancestry of Gold, Ancestor of Gold, and Ancestry, and Totem, and Spiritual Animal, and Damage Done, and Root of Pain. That is my favorite songs in the album, and all of the songs in this album is good. It's no song that is boring or tiring. Like you don't think about it in that way. I mean, for me, anyways, when I listen to Soulfly, it's not like you think like this song is that. Okay, now this song is over. It's like Soulfly, almost like Soulfly is like one big song, all together at once. That is what also that way the whole thing is really very much is maybe like the Spiritual Animal is a long song, like 9 minutes, I think it was 9 minutes, but you don't feel it when you listen to it. And I think the only way when you think about the time in a track is if you don't really like it, because if you like something you don't really care how much time it takes. For example, if you talk about bands like Dream Theaters have songs that maybe it's like 25 minutes, but because it's so diverse, that song with spiritual animals. Like first you hear the animals, then you hear the groovy metal style, and then you hear like more the reggae beat to it later on. So it's very much like it's you never for me anyways. I never get tired. I have listened to the album right now like maybe 4 times. So for me it's really I can listen to every soulfly album like many times in a row without getting tired of it because it's so different from each other, and it's like yeah, I think yeah, that is really what I want to say. It's just a very consistent different song for the album of Totem, and it's not just, and that is maybe the best thing to say, is really is each song have a different topic to it, but mostly it's about spirits and nature, but it's also about really about, I think you take your own image to it. This is what I mean, is that you really yeah, that is my best explanation for me anyways of this, is that it's about talking about native spiritual culture. It's not just in ritual, it's more about the inspiration of the Navajo people. In Totem it's more about spirits and ancestry and creatures and nature. So as I have said many times now I know. But yeah, okay, so the final thing I say here is that if you don't have listened to the album yet, Totem, I strongly recommend this album. So yeah, listen to it with an open mind. For me anyways, I think so when you give put a category on soulfly, if they are black metal, groove metal, speed metal, new metal, and all this kind of thing, I think that is just damaging in my way it, because I think you don't need to have any style, so long you play the music you like and you listen to something you like. You don't really have to know what kind of style is, and this is what I mean with soulfly. It's like, for me, I always have seen soulfly like a tutti frutti of metal, because it's so many taste that you get when you open the bag of musician's candy, and this is like soulfly is very much different taste. It's not like just one taste, and this is the reason why I never understand the point when people say black metal, because soulfly is so different from just, you cannot put soulfly in one box and say some categories are behind it, because that is I think that is the problematic with it, because it's so different. And this kind of thing, yeah. So yeah, I hope you like my review. I know it's very long, and yeah. Anyways, hope you like it. So soulfly, Totem, and spiritual animals and all this kind of thing. Yeah, it's